Alright, guys, so the long-awaited debate is over. We already knew Putin was going to probably put ground forces in Syria. Um, you know as well as I do that he has them in Ukraine. So to say that he doesn't have some units um, out on the ground doing what needs to be done, finding these targets and everything else is a little bit shady. I don't know how in depth this is going to be, but if you look at any of the numbers for any of these campaigns in the Middle East, the number of ground troops is usually between 3,500 and about 10,000. Now, I've already looked into this a little bit, and as you can tell by the title even, that Putin basically wants to use mercenaries for volunteer mercenaries. Now, who was the one who said that mercenaries were being used in Syria? Putin. What is he doing using mercenaries? Why? Because people who you pay a lot of money to will do what you tell them to for a short period of time. Probably. So I'm going to do the Breitbart one first because I usually see the Breitbart about a week later, except for we're probably not going to see this one due to its content and the U.S. transparency issues thereof. Russia, no ground troops, but volunteer mercenaries may flood Syria. Russia volunteers fighting in Ukraine might travel to Syria to fight with President Bashar al-Assad forces, military announced to Russian media. However, the Kremlin insists the government has no plans to deploy ground troops. It is likely the groups of Russian volunteers will appear in the ranks of Syrian army as combat participants. So that's how they're going to get around it, folks. Admiral Vladimir Komoyedovic, head of Russian Parliament's Defense Committee, told Russian media. The claim that Russian ground troops are not present in Syria is a matter of debate for many observers. Ta-da! That's what I told you. Wasn't it? Yes, it was. In early September, Syrian television claimed to show Russian troops and vehicles alongside Syrian troops. Ta-da! I already told you this. Yes, I did. I told you. They're on the ground, folks. There's no question. Look at that. You can believe anything you want. That backs it up. Russian officials denied sending ground troops to Syria. Yeah, like they denied sending them to Ukraine. Duh. Source London Times. So, not too bad. Alright, so what attracts volunteers apart from ideas? Of course, money. Continued Komoyedovic. Interfax reported these volunteers earn about $50 a day. Alright, well, let me explain something to you. Whenever an official government puts something out, it's usually about 10% what it usually is. I'm not going to say they put it out there at $500 per person because that would be insane if you're trying to train a whole, I don't know, I'm guessing battalion worth of these guys. So $50 a day, I don't know. I would expect that number to be at least $150. At least $250 a day just to get out of bed. So at least we have an idea. Remember who said, I know how much they're getting paid? Putin. Why? Because he's the one paying this shit. Obama's paying the Syrian rebels who become ISIS. And Russia, via Putin, is paying the Syrian, or paying the guys on the ground in Ukraine, and now he's going to slowly phase out Ukraine, and he's going to move over to Syria with his group of mercenaries. You watch. You watch and see if I'm not right. So I'm going to jump off the bandwagon here. Mid-June, Interior Ministry reported 400 Chechens have joined terrorist group, mainly ISIS. You get the idea there, blah, 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 blah. And this and that. So those are details I don't care about. It's official, Putin launching ground war in the Middle East. Following weakening incursion of Turkish airspace by Russian jet, which created international incident, which most of the news did not cover, oddly enough, Putin has taken another action that is destined to boost tensions in the Syrian theater. On Tuesday, it was learned that Russia has sent units of famed or infamous Spetznaz along with entire Black Ops para-battalion to Syria. Oh, that's not fair. I totally want to go there just to take pictures. Yeah, that's it. I'll volunteer as a media person. Yeah. That'll be fun. So, there we go. On Tuesday, I was learning, okay. There's no doubt the units were there not merely to protect Russian bases, but to support current President Bashar al-Assad and his government from overthrow. Russia has already made it clear that as far as it is concerned, anyone holding weapons that is not an Assad military member is in fact a rebel. As such, an legitimate target includes foreign forces fighting against ISIS, the Syrian government that are supported by the U.S. So, I'm not going to go into this. There isn't much here. So, you get the idea, folks. I mean, there's 2 or 3 different fronts of this. We know they got special forces on the ground. They need guys on the ground to find out where the hell this shit is, because satellite photos only do so much. You need to know what, when, how, why, etc. And that's what your teams on the ground generally do. I mean, you can play this any way you want. A football game, a paintball, anything you want. You toss one of those, camera planes or something into the air to watch the paintball thing go on. You can only see so much. When the guy's sitting there with binoculars, you go, hey, there's the guy with the paintball gun right there. Yeah, he just went west. Hey, he's going to go capture the flag, or, in their terms, yeah, he's going to go across the Turkish border. Get him before he gets there. So, you get the idea. All right, guys. Thanks.